Hello, Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot, and today we're going to take a look at the Akashic Records to see what message Source has for you. It is a collective general reading. So as the messages come through today, take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else. And please check your other placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. All 12 zodiac signs will have their Akashic Records reading up no later than Thursday. And if you can hear that humming in the background, I apologize. I do have the AC unit on because it is like 92 degrees up here today. So with all of that said now, let's begin. We're tapping into the Pisces collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the message from the Akashic Records for the Pisces collective? What do they need to know at this time? And if you're not familiar with the Akashic Records, it basically is the universe's record, if you will, of your soul's journey. I typically do this reading twice a year. Last year I did it in May of 2025 and December of 2025. And I thought since we just came off of that new moon in Taurus yesterday on May 16th, 2026, it would be a good time to do the reading. So let's see, what does the Akashic Records have for you at this time in your life? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Abundance. And at the bottom of the deck, we have difficult road. You are being asked to open to abundance, to believe that you are deserving of it, and to believe that it will flow to you. This is the first important step toward receiving it. Breathe deeply and trust that it is on its way. So there's something here about believing that better days are on their way to you after what appears here to have been a difficult road or a difficult chapter in your life. At the bottom of the deck, we have difficult road. Spirit of perseverance. Be prepared for great things. You are walking the hard path in life. So I feel like that's where you have been up until this point. Definitely on this journey now, moving towards abundance, whether that is financial, emotional. I noticed the butterflies here. 1, 2, 3, 4 butterflies. I mean, for some of you, this has been like a 4-year transformative process, or like the last 4 years have been quite difficult for you. And now I feel like you're going from, you ever drive like on a gravel road? And it's like after a while, you just get used to it because it's just, that's where you're at. You're on a gravel road. Now you're about to get onto a smooth pavement, if you will. And you'll notice the difference. But just as we go to traverse from the difficult road to the smooth pavement, if you will, there's always like that little bump. I think right now you're experiencing that bump. So this may be the hardest part right now, like just getting over the bump, getting over the hump. And then I want to say it's smooth sailing after that, or a lot smoother than the road you've been on. Tell me more about this here for Pisces, please. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. Why is abundance and difficult road their message at this time for their soul's journey? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the 10 of Pentacles. We have the 6 of Cups. And we have the Hangman. So a little bit of a pause here. Bottom of the deck, the Tower. Okay. So there's something here coming to an end. Something that was in your life for a long time, a person, a place, a thing, an experience, a job, a career path, maybe a marriage, a relationship, some type of community involvement. Tell me about that 10 of Pentacles. Something that you thought would be long-lasting ended up not being long-lasting here in your life. Clarify that 10 of Pentacles. This could even be like the passing of a pet. I'm not predicting that. Again, it's something that would have already happened for you recently. Tell me more about that 10 of Pentacles. One more shuffle. Thank you. 10 of Pentacles, clarified by 3 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, and the 4 of Pentacles, bottom of the deck, the Devil. I think you held on to this for as long as you could. The situation, the environment, the connection, the lifestyle, again, maybe the career industry you've been in. You held on to it for as long as you could in that 4 of Pentacles. You were a little stubborn there, not wanting to let this go. But at the end of the day, it was toxic here for you. 7 of Wands to the World card. Look how those cards came out. It's almost like, and don't take offense to this, okay? It's just your soul's journey. For some of you, you were almost as toxic as the situation, environment, or connection you were dealing with. Because you were dealing with a situation, environment, or connection that was toxic, but there was a shadow, we'll call it shadow, not toxic, shadow aspect of yourself where you were resisting the ending. Even though you knew it wasn't good for you, or it wasn't in your, didn't serve your highest good. There was like, but I don't want to move on from this job. I know I deserve better. I know I can get better. But right now, I don't want to move on from this job. I know this person isn't good for me, this romantic partner or this, marital partner. But as much as I know they're not good for me, I'm also resistant to letting them go or ending the cycle. So whatever this was for you, and again, we're looking at partnership here, professional, platonic, or romantic. I'm going to try working on it. 3 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. I'm going to hold on to this. 3 plus the 4 is 7. 7 of Pentacles. I'm going to do this for as long as I can. Little sunk cost fallacy there. You know, well, I've been in it for X amount of time, so I just kind of have to keep trudging through it. I got to keep driving on that gravel road until, you know, until it closes out. But I think you were delaying the closing out, even though part of you knew that it needed to come to an end. At some point in time, we have to get off of the gravel road, even though it becomes, remember what I was saying in the beginning, not that it becomes comfortable, but it becomes a comfort zone, because I've been driving on the gravel road for so long, I kind of forgot what pavement is like. So the abnormal becomes normal. The uncomfortable becomes comfortable. That's the danger of that Four of Pentacles. Six of Cups. Tell me about that Six of Cups. One more shuffle. Thank you. We have the Page of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Cups, and we have the Nine of Cups. Bottom of the deck, the Hermit. So at some point in time in that process, and this might be where you're at right now, you're doing some soul searching and you're realizing that whatever situation, environment, or connection that was in your life, it really isn't your Nine of Cups. It really didn't make you emotionally content. And I think you're acknowledging here to yourself that whoever it was, they weren't investing in you the way you were investing in them. They weren't showing up like, this is like the boss where like you show up with your best effort and all of your talents and your knowledge and your experience and your tools and all of that stuff. And they just were not either seeing it or reciprocating it, or they cultivated a toxic work environment. And you're seeing that now, where maybe once upon a time that was your dream job or the dream industry or the dream company to work for, but now you're realizing it really wasn't my Nine of Cups. Now that I get to reflect back on it in this Hermit energy, Page of Swords, Queen of Wands. Queens exist for, you know, for me in the present because they process the past. So it's just starting to understand or realize that really wasn't everything. That wasn't everything that it should have been or it could have been. And same thing if that is a connection with a friend, a family member, or a lover. You're realizing even if once upon a time it had promise or hope, I'm realizing at the end of the day it really wasn't my Nine of Cups. Hangman. A little bit of a suspension mode here, which may be good. Because, let's see what wants to show itself. King of Pentacles. So you're ready to invest in a new, right behind that Eight of Cups. So the one good part, after going through all of this, the reason why I think you're held in this holding pattern right now, and some of you may not be understanding it, is you really have to understand what you're leaving behind to understand what you want to replace it with. If you're making the determination that this is not the job you want, then we really need to reflect on what were the aspects of this job that I didn't like, or the industry, or the company, or the work culture. So then you can manifest what it is that you do want, the abundance that you do want. So if you're feeling stuck right now, like I don't know what the next thing is, I think this period of stuckness, if you will, I think it's necessary, because this needs to be processed. Not so much to process the emotional loss of it, although I'm sure there is some there, or disappointment even, but there's something here. You have to understand what didn't work to understand what will work for you now. It's possible you're a very different Pisces today than you were when you entered that. Let's say that's a marriage and you got married at 21, but now you're 41. What works for you in a relationship at 41 is very different than 21. Same thing if this is a job or a community partnership that maybe a volunteer group you were part of. What worked then, or I shouldn't say what worked then, who you were then may not be who you are now. So this is like an assessment phase. Now that you know what works and what doesn't work, you get to manifest what you want, work on what you want, co-create. I was going to say co-create on the new, and the Ace of Cups came out. Now you get to co-create on the new. Ace of Cups, King of Wands, taking action, Four of Cups, bottom of the deck, Knight of Pentacles. Once you know what works, what you like, and what you don't like, what leaves you emotionally disappointed, and what makes you emotionally happy, then again, Queens exist in the present because they process the past, and Kings take action. So now you're ready to take action. And that's what this whole holding pattern, if you will, that you're currently in is all about. It is a process of learning for you in the Knight of Pentacles, so you can create a plan now about what you will do next as this closes out. And maybe for some of you, it already closed out, but you still feel a little stuck. Tell me more about what you were holding on to. Four of Pentacles. Or what didn't work back then. Or what did work even. Let's see if we can get a little understanding on that Four of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We're not going to take them. They fell face down. Lovers. Five of Swords. Ugh. And the Eight of Swords. Bottom of the deck, the Moon. So, Wheel of Fortune shows itself, King of Cups, Queen of Swords. So, you made a choice, again, made a choice to get involved with that situation, environment, or connection. And then Five of Swords occurred. The Five of Swords is deception, manipulation, someone trying to win at all costs, harsh arguments, realizing that you and the other person or people involved were not on the same page, did not want the same things, but at the same time feeling trapped or stuck to it, and that Eight of Swords, and that was that Four of Pentacles. But I don't want to hold on to it. Look how that situation, environment, our connection changed for you. It was very promising. Sun is out. We're happy. We feel like this is a blessing from the universe, right? I feel like this is a blessing. I think in the Lover's card is Archangel Raphael. So it's like this is a, you know, a miracle, if you will, that I met this boss or this friend or this lover, or I'm collaborating with these people. So I'm going to make the choice to move forward with it. And then the Five of Swords started happening. And from the Five of Swords, again, we get that competition, the arguing, the manipulation. Maybe this person has some narcissistic tendencies. It went from really good to really bad. I mean, look how the sky literally just changes here with these people. And then it just becomes a full-out rainstorm. We're now in a tornado that's inside of a hurricane, and we feel trapped. And we're still hoping that maybe one day it can get back to what it was, when it was bright and beautiful and promising and felt like a gift from the gods, right? So maybe that's why some of you held on to it, was the hope that it would get back to that. And then at some point in time when you reflected on the past, you went, no, because even if it goes back to the beginning, it still was never my Nine of Cups, even in the beginning. And I think that's a realization that you made, whether that closed out by force or by choice. I think that was this is the moment here where you're saying, even if it went back to the beginning, it wouldn't be what I need it to be. It never was the best thing. I just thought at the time it was. Anything else about that? At the time, I thought it was everything that I wanted. Now I realize moving forward, that's nothing of what I want in my life. Anything else about that? It's an interesting message. One more shuffle. Thank you. Judgment. It was a judgment call that you made. Queen of Pentacles, based on your investment in that Three of Wands, you wanted better for yourself. So again, whether it ended by force or by choice, or you're in the middle of the ending now, again, based upon my investment in that, it's really not what it's all cracked up to be. Anything else that's going on presently for you? And then we'll look to see where you're headed. Anything presently? So that definitely was a difficult road. You kept persevering. God love you. You tried to make it work. Now you're realizing, no. One more shuffle. Thank you. Present day. Page of Wands, Queen of Wands, and Queen of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Five of Pentacles. So feeling a little abandoned or left out or neglected, right? Whether, like I said, it ended by force or by choice, or you're in the process of it ending. So whether that's emotional lack or financial lack, you're still processing the loss of whomever or whatever that was. But at the same time, there's a little bit of excitement in the Page of Wands of what could be next or what is coming next. But this is a lot of processing. All four queens here are on the table. So you're processing the emotional investment, you're processing the financial investment or the time investment. The Queen of Wands, I was once passionate about this, or I once desired this. You know, the Queen of Swords, now is looking at all of that very logically. I think you're understanding why you were drawn to it or drawn to them, and realizing that's not the type of situation, environment, or connection you want in your future. Tell me about that future. Tell me about the future. So far, we only have the King of Wands for you in terms of taking action. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Which is good. It is fire. I'm ready. I'm ready for the new. Five of Pentacles to move on from that. Ten of Wands and the Seven of Swords. And I think you're finding it challenging. Yeah, this is the bump. This is the hump. So I have a good idea based on that past. I have a good idea of what I want, but maybe I'm having some difficulty getting over the bump. Why is that? It's like I can't see where I'm going. I know where I'd like to be. I just don't know how to get there, right? I can't see the forest through the trees type of thing. Maybe you're getting a little too lost on the details. Maybe you need a more expansive view in that King of Wands energy. How can they overcome this? One more shuffle. Thank you. Overcoming this. Three of Cups, Four of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Bottom of the deck, Nine of Wands. So getting through this difficult chapter or cycle, if you will, there's something here about connecting with people. Connecting with people in your community, your 3D world, maybe online, online forums, support groups. There's something like that. Something centered around house, home, structure, stability, friendship, community, family. I think this is what will help you get over the bump. So again, whether you know this person or these people, or they're ones that you will meet online, or maybe you just know them online now, there's something here like that's what gives you the push to move into that next chapter in that Wheel of Fortune. So is this something that you can do alone? Realistically, yes, but it's not something you need to do alone. So if you're feeling stuck right now and you have a good idea where you want to go, but you're not quite sure how to get there, I would look for support groups, community groups, either, like I said, in your 3D world, like within your town or county or state or region. And if that's not available to you, depending on where you live in the world, then something online. But I think you need support. You need people to cheer you on. You need people to exchange ideas with. Again, and it could be a Facebook group. It could be a, you know, a Reddit thread. It could be something on Quora. I don't know. There's some type of community group here that is needed. You need support right now. So if you're feeling like, I know where I'm going, but I don't know how to get there, this is your GPS on how to get there. Anything else about that? We'll take it. Thank you. Anything else? King of Pentacles, the Death card, and the Page of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Justice. So when you're connecting to this person or these people, again, 3D world or like online world, there's at least one person here that then helps you. There's someone here who helps to transform your life. They have a brilliant idea. They give you a suggestion. They offer you a job. You know, they offer you a love or compassion. Again, it could just be support group, just so you don't feel so alone in the world. So I would look for ways to do that. I think that there's at least one soulmate here that sort of rises above the rest. And again, they don't have to be in your 3D world. I'm getting a lot of online feeling here, and I don't know why, because I don't have anything here in terms of cards that's lending me to that. Why do I keep getting the online feeling? Like an online support group, a forum, people you can exchange ideas with, people going through the same situation you are. And it could be for some of you, you know, maybe you're getting, you know, over, you know, alcohol, and maybe this is Alcoholics Anonymous, or you're leaving an abusive situation, and maybe this is a support group for battered women or battered men. There are, you know, they exist also in the world. There's definitely something here about community that can help you move forward, or maybe even family. Why do I keep getting on that online message though? Thank you, we'll take it. Two of Swords, Knight of Wands, and the Hierophant. Bottom of the deck, Four of Swords. There's some type of community group, people that have the same like shared principles or missions or visions for their life. There's something creative here and passionate, and I think you can't see it how that would be beneficial to you. And again, one if not all of them stands out from the rest, because we have Taurus energy here, and then we have Taurus energy in the Hierophant. So this person will become a teacher, a mentor, a guide, a best friend for you. Again, even if it's not in the 3D world, it's nice to have a person or people champion us, someone who understands what we're going through because they're going through it also, or they've been through it in the past. So I would look for community forums, literally in your community or online, to help you with this. There's definitely an exchange of ideas here. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. So abundance is on its way to you. The holding pattern is so you can assess this and have a better idea of what it is that you want, and then look for community groups to connect with. And at least one of them will help you get onto that paved road that you're desiring, and definitely deserve after everything that you've been through. 3 cards of advice here for Pisces. You know what? I'm going to get 2 sets of advice for you. 2 sets, because a lot of you are still processing this, even if you're on the new chapter. And then we'll get you 3 cards of advice for connecting with this person or people. So 3 cards of advice here for processing the past. Processing the past. One more shuffle. Thank you. This could also be people that motivate you. Notice in the Four of Swords, you're just kind of like laying down. So this might also be a person or people that are going to motivate you to maybe think outside of the box, or step out of your comfort zone. You know, think something different, not to be in such a slumber, or I don't want to say feeling sorry for yourself, but, you know, just kind of lamenting the loss. I think these are people that help you, like, get up, go, come on, we can do this, you can do this. So how to deal with this right now? Queen of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, which you were in there, and that 5 of Pentacles. Nurture, nurture, nurture yourself. It's the most important thing you can do right now in this holding pattern. Love yourself, speak kind words to yourself, get out in nature if you're able to do that. Do something that excites you. That's the 3rd decan of Sagittarius. Something small that excites you, something that interests you, something that is creative, learning something new, even something that will expand your mind. But there's definitely something here about nurturing yourself, the people, pets, plants in your life, your home space, especially your environment, you know, keeping it clean, believe it or not, is a nice way to clean the energy. So there's things that you can do around house and home, and also taking care of yourself will help you to get out of this, or to process the loss and the anxiety that you feel regarding the loss. And again, something fun and creative. And I just saw the 3 of Wands card. I think that'll help you to move forward from that. 3 cards of advice here about moving forward and connecting to, we'll call it the community. The community. 3 cards here when it comes to connecting with the community. One more shuffle. Thank you. 2 of Pentacles, you have to create the time for it. There's that 4 of Wands, that community again. Ace of Swords, that is the truth. Bottom of the deck, Temperance. You need to create the time for it, either to get out of your home and connect with people. Again, that 4 of Wands could be within your community, or with that Ace of Swords, again, online. But there's something here. That's where the breakthrough comes. The support group, the networking, the you know, people that love you, people that understand where you're at, because they're there also. And there's also something here about you'll feel a lot more balanced when you realize you're not alone in this. You're not the first person to have to traverse from a difficult road to a paved road. There's people that have done it already that can lend some advice to you in that higher fun energy. And there's people going through it right now. And whether you're holding hands with them, you know, again, in the everyday life, in the real world, or just symbolically online, it'll make you feel like you're not alone as you move towards abundance. That is what I have for you, my dear. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them. Look at that. These are people that help you move past that 10 of Wands that was here. So I would definitely look for people to connect with. But that is what I have for you. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, subscribe, hype the video if you're able to do that on your mobile device. And don't forget to check out your other placements. Until I read for you again, I'm wishing you light, love, and peace.